Welcome everybody. Welcome internet friends. What a joyful day. So honored to have these people here. We have the Marinade team. We are honored to have Sebastian, community lead, and Ellie, the artist behind the new rebranded image of Marinade and creator of the awesome NFTs that will drop some alpha to the audience. Thank you so much, guys, for actually coming here to talk about Marinade.
Thank you for
Thanks
having
for having
us.
us.
Yeah,
you.
it's such a pleasure to be here.
So let's start with a super brief introduction. How did you guys end up here, building on Solana, working with Marinade, going around the world to all these hacker houses? A little bit about your background, about the Marinade team, and then how did you end up here?
Yeah, you want to
wanna go
start,
first?
Sebastian?
Okay,
no,
should I start?
because you were before me, so it feels more natural that
Okay,
you
it's good.
should
In better
start
order.
with the
Okay,
background.
cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I've been a crypto fan for a long time, and it all started with Ethereum. I realized like smart contracts was something cool, and they had a pretty awesome logo type. So I was like, okay, might as well take a small bet here. But things led me to Solana because Ethereum has the scalability issues, and I was sick and tired of the extreme costs I had to pay when playing around in DeFi. So I found Solana, and I looked for a single asset staking option for my SOL tokens in the beginning of last year, and I saw that Marinade at that stage. They were quite early. This was like spring last year, and I saw that they were working on a liquid staking solution. And I'm not a fan of locking my stuff up. So I was like, okay, liquid staking, and I don't have to lock my things up. So I joined their community, and through their community in the Discord, I saw that they possibly could need help with like moderation and user support and so on. So I just reached out to them and asked them like, hey guys, do you need help with your like community and deal with the users? So they gave me a chance to start off as a moderator, and then this is like in May, June last year. And then just before the launch, they asked me, like launch in August, they asked me if I wanted to come on full time. And obviously like a big dream of mine had been for a long time to work full time with crypto. So I, immediately took that opportunity, and yeah, it's been a really interesting ride since. And my professional background before that has been many years of user support and user retention as well for different kind of products on the internet. So I've managed to apply those experiences.
Yeah? Perfect backstory. Yeah. It shows everything is possible. I mean, lots of people just start as community members in the good way, and they make their dreams. I mean, amazing. I had the same similar path. So yeah, I totally feel you. What about you, Ellie?
Yeah, I think that Sebastian is actually one of the reasons that I am in Marinade, because his work with the community was what caught my eye when I first started to get acquainted with the Marinade. But my journey started earlier. I read the white paper, the Bitcoin white paper, like 5 years ago, and then I was like, wow. And since then, I've been keeping an eye on the space, but I haven't been working there. This last summer, I just quit all my jobs and wanted to try to do some indie games. But then a friend of mine was telling me about this Solana hackathon, and he was like, you shouldn't participate in the hackathon. And I went there and I put some like links in there, and then Marinade came and found me there. And they were like, hi, we're not going to participate in the hackathon, but we see what you can do and we might need your help. And I was like, okay. Went into the Discord, checked around, checked the website, everything. And I was like, yeah, I can definitely do something here. And the community was so super friendly. And that's why I wanted to join. I was like, wow, this is the place I want to hang out.
The beauty of the intimate Solana community, that we're still small and we can know each other, and people can find amazing team members through the various Discord servers. Like half of our team was also populated from the Solana hackathon channel in Discord. So yeah, it's an awesome ecosystem. I totally feel you. Why Solana?
Yeah.
You really notice that when you're on these hacker houses, or for example in the Breakpoint event as well, that it feels like the Solana ecosystem it's kind of like it's a small family still, since we're so early. So definitely can vibe with that. And I see what you guys now at Grape as well. It's like totally community-driven project, the same way we're doing here in Marinade. So it's a lot of synergies in that sense.
My title for those hacker houses, for these events, these massive events that Breakpoint was, it's because it really felt like early Ethereum events. To me, the title is tribalism without toxicity. It's really beautiful. Something I never expected back in 2017.
Yeah.
So like the environment is super collaborative.
Let's get into our hot topic about what you guys are building. But before we start, because I know lots of people didn't come prepared, let's give us a short TLDR version of what Marinade.Finance is.
Ellie, do you want to take this one or should I?
I think you, yeah.
Okay. So basically, like I'm going to try to explain as good as I can. Marinade is like the first non-custodial liquid staking protocol built on Solana. So basically, it's a stake pool, and we delegate stake across almost the whole network. We exclude the super minority because we want to decentralize the stake on the network. And when you stake through Marinade, you receive a derivative in return that represents your staked SOL, which is called mSOL. And if you're into like DeFi in the Solana ecosystem, you've probably seen mSOL once or twice at least around there. So that's basically what the Marinade is. And like our mission with what we're doing here is we're doing our best really to empower the Solana network and decentralize the Solana network as well, which is important. That's why we skip the super minority, those that collectively hold more than 33% of the staked SOL out there. So we're doing our best to like just make the Solana network more valuable, more robust, and decentralized. And also through the mSOL, obviously, since that now suddenly through the mSOL, you can use staked SOL in the DeFi ecosystem. That also empowers the whole DeFi ecosystem as well. Like suddenly we have a lot of different DeFi protocols that has the mSOL liquidity that is generating yield and fees for those platforms as well. So that's basically in a nutshell what Marinade is and what we're trying to accomplish as well.
It's an awesome quest. It's a fantastic mission. And as you mentioned, you were the first in Solana doing that. You had the first mover advantage, and you're actually synonymous kind of with the liquid staked solution. Like it's mSOL, it represents many other protocols that sometimes it represents in a figure of speech, many other protocols that are actually engaging in liquid staking. Do you think that having the first mover advantage obviously gave you a huge boost, but do you think those guys that are coming second saw some of your failures are real competition, or they have such a small slice of the pie that there is no way? Like you see Socian, you see Parrot, you see a bunch of staking solutions, but compared to the network you guys have, they are tiny. Like, do you think there is an advantage of their late coming into the game?
I mean, I think that all stake pools collectively do important work together. Even though we had the first mover advantage, I think that what Socian is doing and JPool and all of these others are doing their fair share and their part in through their delegation models to try to decentralize and secure the network as well. So coming like after Marinade or after these other stake pools, I don't see it as a negative thing. It's more of like the way I see it's a collective effort, and we're trying to do our best to collaborate in this sense as well, because in the end game is to make Solana number one, right? And since we're so early still, and like we touched upon previously, the Solana ecosystem is kind of a small family. I think it's important to appreciate what everybody brings, even though it might be a little bit of a different product or a different solution, but to the same problem. So when one is looking at these different stake pools, it's like, look at the delegation formula and see what the strategy is. That's the main key, not who's the biggest or largest, I think. And in the end, like within the Marinade theme, we have the cooking theme, and it's all about the taste preferences, right? So
lovely.
So, yeah.
I love that. Yes. It's on the menu.
Yeah, exactly.
But to build on this question, because this is something that I've seen the Grape community, other DeFi communities talk about. Do you see a future where there is another layer of tokens that represents all liquid staking solutions under one token, that then that token is used for all DeFi protocols? Just because creating liquid staking solutions just for mSOL and then overlapping building with another staking pool, like is that a possible outcome of this fragmentation?
It is definitely, in my opinion, a possible outcome. In the end, it's up to this classical. It's up to the market to decide, but it's up to the ecosystem to decide, I think. But we've seen attempts to do this previously already on Solana, but it kind of ends up being like 90% mSOL. So that is just like, then suddenly it's just another version of mSOL in a way. So we haven't seen like an effective solution to that yet, but I'm sure perhaps there will be some cool solutions out there. We already have like this Soli index token, for example, which is quite interesting. So right now there's no apparent like solution for it, but I'm quite sure that there's going to be quite innovative ways of dealing with this in the future. But at the same time, I don't see it as anything negative to have several different liquid staking derivatives, such as mSOL or the other ones as well, working in the market at the same time too. Like I said, like it's up to taste preferences and kind of support the delegation formula one wants to support, and also as a user to find the deepest liquidity and so on as well. So I think there's we're really early still, but I think there is definitely enough like sharing the market for everybody to participate in that sense. But looking forward to see like cool innovative stuff coming up in the future though. We're definitely
I'm pretty sure we're going to see derivatives of derivatives coming coming to the game. Before we get into the future, the rebranding that it's going to be Ellie's work, I don't know who's going to do a little bit of a 2021 look back. I remember you had two major goals: decentralized Solana, decentralized Marinade. How did this go? How was 2021 for Marinade.Finance?
If you don't mind, Ellie, I'm gonna take this one as well.
Go ahead.
Okay, so 2021 was a really intense year, to be honest. Not only for Marinade, but for the whole Solana ecosystem. It was, just looking at the price chart, it was like a proper ride for everybody involved. But it was just amazing. Like we saw like the amount of validators increasing with more than 100% as well. If I'm not like totally correct with the numbers, it went from like 500, 600, 700 to like 1,400 something, which is quite impressive, and that is a really good key metric for growth. So that was really cool. And since Marinade launched, like we launched in August, and we quickly got a lot of SOL to delegate to the validators on the network, and we managed to send stake or delegate stake to more than 400 validators by the end of the year, which in my opinion is like a huge win, not only for Marinade, but for Solana as well, and Solana network itself. So we were part of, together with other stake pools, we were part of helping pushing the Nakamoto coefficients to a higher number. And this is like the concentrate of stake and so on. So I think we accomplished, the first steps of the journey of really, doing our best to decentralize and secure Solana. So super, happy that we will be able to be part of that journey. But so, as we send stake to so many validators, like we're talking about more than 400 validators on the network, making the Solana, more robust and resilient, it provides a lot of value for the network. But not only does it provide value to the network and the existing validators, we're also, like with our delegation strategy, doing our best to make the environment better for new and upcoming validators too. So it's easier to set up a validator on Solana. I'm not sure if everybody's aware of it, but it's quite a steep hill to climb to get going with a validator on Solana. You need to pay heavy costs for just the servers in a data center, but you also have to have a bunch of SOL staked, like approximately like 50,000 SOL to be break even. So the way to go about it is to get like a grant from the Solana Foundation to be able to set up a validator and not like lose all your money, right? But we also happen to be able to assist with this, and since we stake to small validators as well, it's quite cool because I got some feedback from validators I've been speaking to myself that said that, you know, they probably wouldn't have gotten started with setting up their validator by the end of last year if it wasn't for the prospect of getting stake from Marinade. Because, you know, the queue to get the grants from Solana Foundation is like more than 1 year. So super glad that we could provide that as well to the network too, and like help with growing the amount of validators, not only making the existing validator network more robust.
Yeah, sounds like a successful mission. And you mentioned the Nakamoto coefficient, which to explain is the number that someone needs, the number of nodes or validators that someone needs to control in order to control the network. So by actually increasing the number, someone needs to increase to actually control many more validators to control the network. So that's a huge win.
Not only us, there's other stakeholders that have been helping out with this as well. And we at Marinade is super glad that we together collectively could you know, push the needle a little bit further, you know. But when it comes to like decentralizing Marinade itself, I mean, what we did was we launched the Marinade token in October last year. And that was the first step towards that, because the Marinade token is in the end not only like a governance token, is the enabler of decentralizing Marinade and governing as a Solana community as a whole as well. So I think we did a pretty successful launch where we did a huge retroactive drop to those who were early users of Marinade, including those who helped on the testnet. And so that was quite successful as well. I was really happy the way we executed that, and big kudos to the guys, the dev guys who made it so smooth as well. So happy with the results of 2021, to be honest.
So 2021 was a success, and then you guys ended the year with rebranding and with new chefs, new characters, new colors, new everything. So tell me the story behind that. What prompted the rebranding, and you know, what's the idea behind it?
So when I first started to like explore Marinade and what they needed, I felt that, yeah, we need some kind of brand. So the rebranding was actually like the branding in my, like, from my point of view, because everything was put together like as they went along. And then I came along and I was like, okay, let's make everything cohesive. Let's make it like fit together. Let's be consistent. And the big inspiration was the community, because I wanted to have something that was that represented the community, which was so inclusive. People were friendly. We also wanted people to feel included even more. So we wanted to make like a brand that was easy to approach and inclusive, and just help people to understand better what the Solana ecosystem is all about. And we also, of course, wanted to stand out a bit, because a lot of projects are going with the dark theme and with the gradients and everything, which is super cool and super awesome. But we wanted to try something different and see if that also has a space here. And just, I don't know, I just wanted to see if the community would like accept something that is a little bit different. And I feel like maybe it has. And I mean, the characters are also a representation of everyone, because we build this together, and I want everyone to feel welcome. So that's why we also go with a lot of different characters. And also, I don't know how to draw humans, so it had to be a lot of animals.
No, but I think it's beautiful, and with having animals, you can have like inclusiveness. You can create stories, you can create lore, you can create scenes. It's I think it's really pretty. So totally understand the corporate thought of having like an identity and a coherent image. So bravo for going down that road. But are there any changes in the roadmap, in Marinade's goals, or in the way Marinade wants to grow? Maybe you guys are now shifting to a different kind of target audience. Is there any change in prompted by this rebranding?
Not really, I would say. Like, it's just a representation of the way we've always been working towards, and maybe a little bit more focused, or at least like in educating people. We want to explain what we're doing and what the Solana ecosystem is about. And maybe that's like a bigger, like more clear statement than before. I don't know, but that's something that we're consciously working on, that we want to be like, maybe not an entry port into crypto, but we want to make it easy for people to understand what they can do with their SOL once they encounter the Solana ecosystem.
Awesome, awesome. And for those that are going to be watching our AMA later on YouTube, on the bottom of the screen, we'll definitely go through some of the characters, some of the animations, and some of the beautiful art that is going to end up as an NFT, right? This is something that you guys are building, that these animals, this group of chefs is going to be NFT'd, right? Can you drop some alpha? How does this all connect? Is there going to be a sale? Should we whitelist? Should we be asking questions? What's going on?
It's funny you mention whitelisting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I know that's gonna be a negative answer, but yeah, here I am humoring you.
No, I mean, it's funny because we had like a massive influx of new users coming into the Discord and asking like, when whitelist? Like we were swamped with replying to those questions, but there is no whitelist.
People
like
pasting their Solana addresses is like airdrop.
Yeah. No, but do you wanna explain, Ellie, like how the NFT connects to these things?
Yeah, I can try, and then you can fill me in on the blanks that I'm leaving. So the NFTs are all connected to governance. So since we are launching our governance model, and we want people to participate, the NFTs will be tied to your voting power. So in order to be able to participate in the DAO, you will need to acquire some tokens, and then you need to lock them in order to gain your voting power.
MND tokens, right?
Oh yeah, the MND tokens. And depending on how many you lock, you get an NFT that represents the value. So if you lock a lot, you get a different type of NFT, like a big one. And if you lock a small amount, you get a small one. But this is like your receipt, and also your voting power is tied to the NFT, which is something that is really important to remember, because you will also be able to sell it on the secondary market. And if you don't remember to also like remember the value that is attached to it, then yeah, you might sell it for too cheap.
So in order for someone to get that NFT, they need to go to participate in the Marinade DAO in Tribeca. And they need to use the locking mechanism they have and lock your MND. So if you lock them for for 5 years, you get a lot of voting weight on your token. And then these people that actually go through with this process, they're gonna receive an NFT depending on how much they locked and for how long. And this is all going to happen through Tribeca. You don't need to go to a site. You don't need to connect your Phantom and send Solana to buy the NFT. This is all connected with your voting power on Tribeca.
Exactly. You could, like, on secondary market, you can also like acquire, will be able to acquire the NFT, and by that, get the NFT, but also the underlying MND that is locked to that NFT as well. And I think one interesting aspect of what we're trying to accomplish with this is, create like a more of a social aspect to the governance as well, where this NFT represents kind of your stake and commitment to the governance of Marinade and what you want to accomplish there too, which will be interesting, because all these NFTs, right, Ellie, they're unique, and there's this limited collection as well for the people who comes early and so on. But worth noting is that there's no whitelist and there's a limited amount of NFTs, so you'll be able to mint NFTs forever. So there's no stress about taking a decision here, if you already think that it's a good idea to participate in governance with Marinade. But yeah, so that's an important aspect to keep in mind too. So we're just trying to do something new, especially like in the end, like kind of I wouldn't say experimenting, but well, I kind of just said it. But create something new and socialize these aspects with the help of the power of NFTs and the PFP thing too. So it's going to be interesting to see like how many people will utilize this NFT as a PFP, and what does that really mean? Does that mean that this person is like a governor now, or what will it turn into? We'll see. But it's going to be interesting to see how
this is a really awesome experiment. And if someone is not familiar with how these on-chain votes happen and all these beautiful tools that various teams have built, like it might seem trivial, but there are underlying questions that I have. So you vote with the PFP, or by acquiring the PFP, you can log in on Tribeca and see your stake, the stake that you bought from someone else. Someone else went through and locked, then sold the token on Magic Eden or in Grape.art, and then someone else bought it, and you can log in with that PFP. Log in with that
basically,
NFT.
and you can decide to burn the NFT to take out the underlying R&D of that as well. And then also one interesting aspect to the NFTs is the rev share model that we plan to apply to it too. So Marinade generates revenue, right, from different fees, and we aim to democratize that as well, and make the NFTs generate a share of these revenues too. But initially, we're going to allocate a certain part of the liquidity mining allocation we have for this aspect, so we get time to develop this as well. But that's also an interesting thing to keep in mind too. What would that mean for like secondary markets? Now suddenly, like, these NFTs generates tokens, and so how will people deal with that when they trade them and so on? And I don't have a good answer to it. I just look forward to see how that develops.
Wow, I love this experimentation. This is why I'm here for. Super interesting stuff, really. So can you enlighten me and the rest of the audience on where does rev share come into play with Marinade, with the protocol? Where do you get percentages? Do you get a small percentage of fees and then you airdrop it in the single staking pools? How does it work? How where do that extra tokens come from?
Yeah, I mean, Marinade as a protocol generates fees both from these liquid on stake operations, like immediate on stake, and that's depending on the depth of that liquidity pool. But in general, it's like 0.3%. So that's one fee, and then we also have like the kind of management fee. So that is approximately, what is it, like 0.12 or 14%. That's like, yeah, either way, there's a management fee, and so all of these things will be collected and then distributed to the NFT holders, so to say. But then the details of staking the NFT or not has not been fully decided yet. So since we haven't like fully developed this aspect yet, and we're going to start off with allocating Marinade tokens from the liquidity mining program we have to these NFTs to begin with. But I kind of look forward to see how post the launch of the NFTs, because that means that we're enabling the governance. And I can look forward to take these decisions together with the users and the community of Marinade instead of top down too. So like, will the users appreciate more like staking the NFT to receive like this rev share, or will they appreciate just having it in the wallet and receive it as an airdrop? Like, who knows? I think we should all take those decisions together.
Yeah, they should have it staked in the Tribeca DAO and to receive it. Otherwise, you want people to be voting. And you can't pay them.
That's the way to go about
it. So many little philosophical issues, with paying people to vote. It's such a mess. But yeah, what you guys are doing, this kind of experimentation and this kind of a game theoretic approach is what's needed in order to find out the recipe that works. We have so much work to do. So yeah, props to those experiments. So at the moment, Marinade is a profitable protocol, and there is no rev share at the moment, but there are plans for rev share that are going to materialize with the NFT.
100%, yeah, exactly. And you can actually, those listening could just go to stats.marinade.finance and see how much profit Marinade is currently doing, both from like this management fees and also from the liquid on staking operations as well. And you can see the development of the treasuries too there. So we're trying to do our best to be like as absolute transparent as possible. So we can find all those details there, stats.marinade.finance.
Awesome. Yeah, that's also a really good place to check for stats and what's going on the network. So the DAO is going to be governed with the staked tokens. And what's the mandate? What's the mission of the DAO? Is it to manage the validators? Like, who is your ideal member of the DAO? Who should go out, lock their tokens, and receive the biggest, most awesome NFT out there from the Marinade collection?
Also likes the NFT art. Obviously, that's like the first-hand thing, right, Ellie? I think Ellie has done an amazing job with the NFTs, and they're quite unique in the way we set it up with this growing from a smaller animal to a bigger one as well. But I think one thing that is worth mentioning in this regard is the Marinade token, and also obviously additionally the NFT connected to that, will give users the ability to participate on Solana on an infrastructure level. So Marinade has a substantial amount of SOL delegated across the network, right? And previously, if you were a regular user that is just bullish on Solana, and you bought a bunch of SOL that you obviously staked for mSOL, but you have a bunch of SOL in the end that you want to appreciate in value. So you should just sit there and perhaps wait and see. But now through Marinade's governance setup with the Marinade token and the NFT, you can now participate on an infrastructure level and be part of governing like aspects such as the delegation formula, perhaps, or like how the revenue share thing should look like, or so these kind of aspects. So if one is interested in participating on Solana on a deeper level, I think Marinade is a great choice for that. So another thing that is interesting to mention, which is perhaps a little bit of alpha, but that is that we also plan to create a setup where one can use the Marinade token to vote in a similar way as one can do with like Saber and their like token rewards on liquidity pools, the Saber Wars thing. So we plan to do something similar here, but with stake. So we have the idea of allocating a certain percentage of the stake that goes through Marinade for this aspect, so that people who have a validator can utilize the Marinade token or the NFT in the end to vote like similar ways of Saber Wars, but stake wars, to get stake to their validator, which will be super interesting for anybody who is doing a validator or is aspiring to set up a validator. Because now, you can disregard the Solana Foundation grants program, and you can just acquire Marinade tokens to make sure that you get the stake you require to have a break-even validator. So that is going to be super interesting too. So not only for the regular users to participate on an infrastructure level, like on a network level and decision making there, also in a kind of like creating this environment for validators to have a more straightforward approach when it comes to acquiring stake too. Because many people don't realize this, but it's quite difficult for a new and upcoming validator to attract stake. It's like, how should I attract it? Where should I market my validator, and so on, etc. So I think this will be super interesting to see be developed as well.
Awesome. That's a really awesome plan. And let's talk a little bit about the actual NFT, the art itself. What should we be looking for? Are we looking for really rare traits? Are we looking for something that's extremely hard to find? And like, what's the procedure for someone who wants to get a collection of those NFTs? Go lock different amounts and hope you're gonna get the NFT you're looking for, or like, how should someone approach this?
Well, first of all, I want to mention that we do have a limited edition that's going to be the first 3,333 ones, which is going to be the octopus. And this is for our early adopters. Like, there's not going to be any more octopuses, so that's it. So and after that there's going to be other animals, but this is like the one of the aspects, like get in early and you will get the limited edition octopus. And other than that, it's just like each level of the NFT has different rarities, like not the levels itself, but like the accessories of the NFTs have the different rarities as well. But if you're like In the future, we are thinking of maybe being able, so people should be able to level up their NFTs. So if you just lock a small amount of MNDE first, and you happen to roll like a super rare one, and you want to level that up, that should be possible. The rarity traits that you got from the first one should follow up.
Some time of NFT trait evolution.
Yeah, it's like a Pokemon type of thing, but yeah. So there will be different rarities of traits, so you can get super rare ones as well.
Wow. So we expect people to go lock MNDE, not exercise their vote, not care about governance, just buying PFPs. Is that a possible outcome? What do you think?
That is a possible outcome, of course, but like now you have the NFT, why not use your voting power? Like anyway, like you have it, so you can just go there and make use of it too. So maybe this could be a way for people to actually get more engaged in this type of governance too. Like they come for the NFTs, but stay for the community and helping us do a better job.
Beautiful. I think that having awesome NFTs, having the rev share model, having a DAO that is actually working on Solana infrastructure, and because you're working on Solana infrastructure, there are some key players in your DAO. Could you maybe give us some big names that are participating in the Marinade DAO? It's okay if you don't want to.
There's so many, right, Ellie?
Who do you want
to? Yeah, exactly. The big players are already here in the call. We don't have to mention the other ones. No, but I think when it comes to the NFTs, right, Ellie, Gekon is his nickname within the DAO, has pulled heavy weights there, right? Then we have like Lucio, that is big on the validator, like delegation formula setup, and Roman there as well, that are definitely superstars within Marinade. And then we have Michael, right, Ellie, that is like driving forward most of the processes and is one of the founders too. I mean, I could sit here and name drop so many people. We have like Spaceman dealing with the user support, doing a great job there. We have Jesse doing the same. There's so many. And then on your end, like Ellie, in your work group, like there's probably somebody you want to name drop there too.
Yeah, I definitely want to give a shout out to Laura, who has been handling everything else while I've been doing this. But we also have like a great like help from Tyler with user testing and so on. So yeah, we're a great group.
There's so many of this, like there's about like 50 contributors to the DAO, and everybody's doing their fair share of making this a success story. So without these people involved, like we wouldn't be where we are now. So it's definitely like a group, / community effort. So yeah.
And you, as you said, you have a super vibrant and large community. What's the recipe? How do you create this engagement? How do you attract those members? What's the secret?
The secret marinade sauce to community. I think like one of the approaches we've had since the start when it came to trying to focus on building our community is to create like a non-hype environment. So, and I think that has helped us like attract and also retain people that comes and actually provides value, instead of people coming and just hyping up like a token price appreciation things and so on. So I think that's one aspect as well. But then also we're trying to like understand that the Solana community is not the people only interested in the Solana price going up. There's also like we have the validators, and we have like governance appreciators, and we have people interested in learning more about stake pools and so on. So we haven't taken any VC money or anything like that. We did a fair launch and we're like self-funded, but even investors such as like VCs and so on, they're part of the community to a large degree. So we're just doing our best to facilitate a nice welcoming environment for all of these different segments. And I think that Ellie's way of designing and branding things has been perfect for us to try to represent what we're trying to achieve with the community in this sense. And then one also really important aspect has been the user support. Like me coming from a professional like support background, I've been very keen to try to find like a middle ground between the traditional like community moderation and actual professional support as well, and making sure we like answer everybody quick and answer everybody, don't leave any like question marks out there at all. And I think we kind of did a good job succeeding with that as well. I think like our response time is usually less than a minute, which is quite different from other communities that don't focus on like this support aspects the same way we do. So that has been an important part of the recipe as well. But I also want to give a shout out to Grape, to you guys, because we've been using your solution when it comes to token holding verification to get the Marinade role within our community. And the Marinade role gives like a little bit extra perks, and you can participate in special events and so on. And without your tool, we wouldn't be able to do it the way we've done it. And
now you're gonna add the NFT, right? Now there's gonna be another layer of verification that is going to be reading your NFT or not. That's it's a nice combination. Coins, NFTs. That's that's
indeed.
cool.
So we can utilize Grape in so many ways. Like it's a great opportunity for us to come here and talk with your community about this aspect. But I want to just say from the Marinade perspective, like working with Grape has been super smooth, and big shout out to Billy's Discord and Dean Machine for providing like top-notch support. Like anytime I had a question or anything, I got a reply within 5 minutes. Doesn't even matter what time of the day. And sometimes I'm awake late, like 3 a.m. my time. I just send a message and I just get a reply immediately. I'm super grateful for their efforts and help. And that's one of the reasons we're continuing using Grape and collaborating with you guys in this sense. So that has also been part of that Marinade community recipe as well, I would say.
Yeah, and on our side, I have to say, we are looking to integrate also mSOL staking on our dashboard, and we hope to to create this beautiful Web3 that puzzle that will also include the number one liquid staking in Solana, at least.
Nice. I love to hear that.
The one that actually I first got to learn. I was introduced, and I've been very happy with the retroactive, the 5 waves of airdrops, retroactive reward. That was insane. That was insane.
Yeah, that was pretty massive. That was pretty massive. Some people got a fair share of money.
I have 2 questions coming from the audience. One is about the NFT timeline. When do we expect to see these things? When should people keep an eye for announcement, in other words?
Ellie, what do you think? Are we talking about months or are we talking about weeks here?
We are definitely not talking about months. Fingers crossed it's weeks. So, but I cannot give any final timeline. But
yeah,
it's not. Yeah.
So announcement in weeks and deployment in month, no less.
Well, we're talking about weeks there as well, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
We want to ship this
so
as
we
soon as
need
possible.
to be on alert.
Yeah.
We should keep our eyes open and look for the. Okay. I love it.
It's getting real close. I can say that. The most important aspect when it comes to deploying this is making sure that with the placement Marinade has within the ecosystem, we have to just make sure that everything is 110%. Works super fine and smooth. Like we don't want to leave any room for any friction at all when it comes to this launch. We have one chance to do this good, and we want to make sure we do this. We'd rather like postpone it maybe than trying to launch something based upon people's expectations when it comes to like the hype and so on. But it's definitely within weeks, both announcement and shipping.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah,
again,
so
to build up on the question again from the audience, let me find it. Oh yeah, the next question is the classic question that I'm getting, and I had it already written, but someone just asked it. And it's about, this is very trivial, we're going back to the beginning of our conversation, and it has to do with mSOL rewards from the staked Solana. So the classic questions that people are always asking are, how are you calculating time staked? I just bought that mSOL from Radium, from Jupiter, from this AMM, a friend of mine sent it. How do you know that this SOL represent a staked SOL for the past year, for example? Are the tokens fungible? Are they non-fungible? How does it work? Could you give us a small, non-technical, Ellie, explain like I'm 5?
I can give my best shot at that, I guess. So like so we have like the whole pool of SOL, right, that we delegate to all these different validators. So your mSOL represents your share in that pool. But in other words, as well as like if you stake through Marinade, you get mSOL in return that represents your stake. And the staking rewards is not paid out separately as it would be if you stake to a single validator. Instead, the mSOL price increases in price versus SOL due to like automated compounding function of the staking rewards into the mSOL price. So it's pragmatically like done that way. So there's no like additional, your mSOL won't increase in the amount, but it will increase in value. So you can read, if you want to know about all the details around how this works, I would advise to go to docs.Marinade.Finance, where you have like a very detailed explanation of this together with more technical aspects of it as well. But so for example, if there's 2 different users and one user, he exchanges, swaps or unstakes his mSOL prior to the other one. So the other one who holds the mSOL longer, his mSOL will accrue value for a longer time. So when he then later on swaps his mSOL for SOL, he will receive more SOL in return, basically. I hope that was okay. Ellie, did I do good?
I think you did good.
Okay, thank God. So that's the thing in a nutshell, I guess.
The question earlier was reposted. Are you gonna give those special octopus NFTs as a retroactive reward? So if I go and lock Marinade now in the DAO, and you launch in 3 weeks, am I gonna get an octopus, or should I wait for your announcement? What's the best the best tactic here? Because you might ship it, you might go, we are live, and we're sold out because already 3,333 people staked before we announced the past weekly.
Oh yeah. Well, no, we're gonna launch that at the same time. You will not be able to stake unless there are like all is gonna be in place. So in order to stake, you will also be forced to take the NFT. So don't worry.
Are the tiers going to be known? The amounts of voting power required to get a high?
Yes. And the minimum amount is 1,000 MNDE to get into the lowest level. And I think level 1 is between 1,000 and 5,000 MNDE. And it will be super clear when you get into the interface on Marinade. You will see the different like requirements for each level, and it's going to be super clear.
Yeah, they did a really good job on the UI, so the user experience will be pretty good. So it's going to be a no-brainer really to understand it. And like Ellie just said, like the starting point is 1,000 Marinade tokens. So and then it'll just tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. One thing worth noting though is that we might give 1 hour or 2 hours heads up to our existing Marinator community when we're doing the launch of this collective edition. So if you want to be part of that, if you have
Marinade, get into the Discord, click the emoji, verify your account.
Use Grape, exactly.
Get into that exclusive chat to receive the announcement. Love it.
Yeah, we're talking about just like 1 or 2 hours ahead of everybody else, just to make sure that our community that has been with us since way back just gets that extra appreciation, so they can get a chance to get those octopuses.
I love it, and you can. It's obvious I love it because we are closing to a 1 hour mark. Like I told you, let's try to do a short one. No, it's like impossible. Yeah. Many questions. You're building way too interesting things.
Thanks for that. It's been a pleasure talking with you as well about these aspects. And hey, I've been watching a lot of your like previous live streams myself to educate myself about the Solana ecosystem, and watching your stuff has been super helpful for me in my journey of understanding the whole space and that Solana family we talked about as well. So was really looking forward to this call.
Thank you, and thank you for all the alpha you dropped, and thank you for putting everything and answering those hard questions, because I know what I'm saying in my whale's tail stream, and sometimes I'm critical, I'm ill-informed, and I say things just to I exaggerate to make a point sometimes, and you actually came here with revenue sharing, with on-chain instructions, with governance, with validator wars, with awesome NFT collections, with rarities, with special editions, like with experiments in game theory. This is what we need. This is what we need as an ecosystem to be successful. We need all these brave teams going for the experiments and trying to perfect the recipe in order to actually get something great in the end. So thank you so much for coming here, for sharing everything. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you for joining and bringing this team into having a cohesive image, because it really makes a difference once you're going for such big things. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you, and I hope we're gonna speak again in a few months in order to give me more alpha, to let us know about all the beautiful things that you're shipping, because the space moves super fast, and going for a really long-term roadmap will never work. So I totally support how Marinade has actually dealt with that by doing some short roadmaps with really focused goals, and then building on that. So totally support that, and I really hope you can come again in the Grape community to talk about the next phase.
Looking forward to that, and thanks a lot for having us.
Thank you so
once
much
again, guys. See you around. See you in one of those amazing hacker houses. I know we're gonna meet, and I'll send you an invitation for the Grape event in Athens, Greece. Stay tuned for that.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Cool. Looking forward to that. Okay, man.
Yeah,
thanks a lot.
Take care, guys.
See you around.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you to all the viewers. Bye.